So here I will be doing example 4 on page 15 in the this is page 15 in the Exponents and Radicals workbook. We are going to simplify algebraic expressions with rational exponents. Write each expression as a power with a single positive exponent and evaluate where possible. Okay, so A is x to the power of 6 over 16, brackets, to the power of a half. So this is a power of a quotient. We're going to use the power of a quotient law, which means that this outside exponent is going to be applied both to the numerator and the denominator. The 6 here is going to be multiplied by this outside exponent. So if we rewrite that, we're going to get x to the power of 6 times a half. And downstairs, we're going to get 16 to the power of a half. We're going to multiply 6 times a half, which is 3, x to the power of 3, or x cubed. And 16 to the power of a half is the same thing as 4, if we evaluate that on the calculator. So in A, this is our final answer. B. Here we have 8 times x squared over 27 to the power of 2/3. So same thing here. We're going to be applying the outside exponent to the quotient in the bracket. Upstairs is going to be applied to the x squared as well as to the 8, and downstairs to the 27. So let's rewrite this after applying that outside exponent. So it's going to be 8 to the power of 2/3 times x to the power of 2 times 2/3. And downstairs is going to be 27 to the power of 2/3. And now if you evaluate the exponents, so actually here we can evaluate this 8 to the power of 2/3. We can do that on our calculator. 8 to the power of 2/3 is 4. So we're left with 4. And here we're going to multiply the 2 times the numerator. So 2 times 2 is 4. So it's going to be x to the power of 4 over 3. And downstairs, the 27 to the power of 2/3 can be evaluated. So 27 to the power of 2/3 is 9. So that's going to be our final answer in B. Finally, we have, not finally, there's 2 more questions. So C, we have upstairs, we have 16 times x to the power of 8. Downstairs, we have y to the power of -2. And then we have an outside exponent of 3 over 4, or 3/4. We apply the outside exponent to the quotient inside the bracket. So we're going to get 16 to the power of 3/4, x to the power of 8 times 3/4, and in the denominator it's going to be y to the power of -2 times 3/4. 16 to the power of 3/4 can be evaluated on the calculator. That's 8. So we have 8 left. And then this exponent here, we're going to multiply the 8 times 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So it's going to be x to the power of 6. Downstairs, -2 times 3 is -6. So it's going to be y to the power of negative 6 over 4. This fraction here can be simplified. We can divide numerator and denominator by 2, leaving us with negative 3 over 2. Okay. Now, we need to provide our final answer with positive exponents. Right here we have a negative exponent, so we're going to apply the negative exponent law. So remember, we will drop the negative sign and move the remaining power across the division line. So in this case, it's going to be moved up, and there's not going to be anything in the denominator. So we're going to be left with 8 times x to the power of 6, and then we're going to have times y to the power of 3/2. And that's our final answer in C. And then in D, we have a large expression. We have x to the power of negative 3 times y to the power of 3 over 2, x squared downstairs, and then we have an outside exponent of 1/2. Okay, now because you have a power upstairs and downstairs where the bases are the same, we could apply the quotient law first. The benefit of doing that is that we will eliminate the denominator. Okay, so we're going to apply the quotient law before we apply the outside power, the outside exponent. Okay, so quotient law means we're subtracting those exponents. So we're going to have negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. And I'm going to do 2 steps here. So we're going to be left here with x to the power of negative 5, and it's going to be downstairs. We are going to move, we're going to drop the negative sign and move the x, the power with the base of x, upstairs. So we're applying the negative exponent law here. So we're going to be left with x to the power of positive 5, not negative, we're applying negative exponent law, right? Times y to the power of 3 over 2, and then we still have the outside exponent of 1/2. Okay, now we're going to apply the outside exponent here. So let's see if I can fit it here. So we're going to have x to the power of 5 times 1/2 times y to the power of 3 over 2 times 1/2. So it's going to be, oh, that's not right, like this. So it's going to be x, 5 times 1 is 5 over 2. And then for y, the exponent is going to be 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. So it's going to be 3 over 4. And that's our final answer here.